where you are right now is very different to where you were even a few months ago.
We're working about 5-6 different things at the same time. For example, still work a full-time job, still working on music-related projects, garment printing, running a brand, a bubble tea shop on the weekend. So there's quite a lot I'm doing at the moment.
He was actually the #1 seller on Rarible.
I wouldn't say I got into anything I'm doing with the purpose of making money.
And it sounds very much like you have a lot of these ideas and you're not someone who sits down and just lets those ideas sit in your mind. You want to get it out there.
I don't really structure any sort of drops or anything, which I've started to learn how to do, but usually I wouldn't do it. And in a way, it's not really good because there's no hype around anything you drop.
There's going to be a hell of a lot of people watching this that are either artists, physical artists that want to get into this world, or there might be NFT artists that are already in this world that are trying to figure out some extra tips on how to improve their portfolio. Or there's people like yourself from a couple of months ago that are thinking that, you know what, this is a space that, I'd like to get into, but I just need to know a few tips on how to actually make sure that I'm maximizing my chances of success. What would you say some of those tips would be? What's going on, guys? Welcome to the CryptoCast, the internet's #1 cryptocurrency podcast. Whether you're already experienced and passionate about cryptocurrency, or you're just getting started and looking to learn more about this world, then make sure to hit the subscribe button below. And if you don't want to miss out on any of our future videos, which contain highly time-sensitive information, click the bell icon to be notified as soon as we've got a new upload. For those of you looking to learn more about investing into cryptocurrencies, I have a free training webinar which explains step by step exactly how you can get started safely, quickly, and with the biggest returns, which is linked in the description below. So make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and share with your friends. For now, enjoy the podcast. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first episode of CryptoCast. It is a podcast focused on the world of cryptocurrency, and we are here to inspire and educate people on the cryptocurrency world. And we do that by speaking to some of the leaders within this industry. And today, we're starting things off in a very, very special way. We've got Numan Khan, who is a digital artist, but there's a special reason why I've asked Numan to join us today, and that's because he is someone who is taking part in the revolution that is the world of NFT art and digital art, and has created a character which has just blown up in popularity. I don't want to get into too much details. I'll let Numan get into that himself. But the way Numan kind of came up onto my radar was he was actually the #1 seller on Rarible a couple of weeks back. And, that was something that I saw. I noticed it. And I thought, let me get in touch with the brother and find out a bit more about himself and his story and his background. So that's why I've asked him here today. Numan, thanks so much for joining us, man.
No problem, bro.
So, Numan, as I said, I've given you kind of an introduction as a digital artist and the creator of course, Gumbo. But, when we spoke a bit earlier, as you mentioned, this kind of where you are right now is very different to where you were, even a few months ago. So just tell us a bit about, what's happened in these last few months to you in your life.
So basically, myself, we're working about 5-6 different things at the same time. For example, still work a full-time job, still working on music-related projects, garment printing, running a brand, a bubble tea shop on the weekend. So there's quite a lot I'm doing at the moment. And I think what it is with me is I'm pretty impatient. So if I've got an idea or something I want to put out, I'll get to it straight away. The thing is, I make the most out of the tools I've got as well. So, for example, I know how to use Photoshop. I didn't know how to use Blender until last month, and that's what I'm using to make all my 3D work on. So I'd say a couple of months ago, I was in a situation where, I was just doing every single weekend was the same. I'd work a full-time job Monday to Friday. Saturday I'll do bubble tea all day. Any other time I'd find I'd either be producing music or, just working on clothing stuff.
Nice. Okay, cool. So you actually, your background is very much focused on entrepreneurship then. You're just, you're very much focused on building multiple streams of income without kind of sounding too cliche, but it sounds like you're a hustler, and you're very driven to kind of elevate yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I got into anything I'm doing with the purpose of making money. Like I've never got into anything I'm doing with purely thinking, shit, I know how to use this. Maybe if I use it correctly, I can make money off it. There's always passion behind everything I do. For example, the music stuff, I've been producing for on and off for about 10 years, and I didn't see any money from it until 5 years into it. So it's not something I have in mind where I think I can make a lot of money off this. Let me just go down that route and see how it goes. I kind of have a passion for everything I do, but if it brings income in, then fair. That's all well and good. With the NFT stuff, again, I didn't get into it with the thought of making money. I was just creating as I normally would, and it just took off.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're a creative as well, like just in general, obviously with the music, etc. And that's really cool. And I think what's really interesting is that, even when I was playing around with creating my first NFT and putting it out there, pardon me, and also playing around with some of these tools, for example, like After Effects. Like I started playing around with After Effects. And then what you start to realize is that there's so many, like we just said, tools out there to just help you get to where you want to get to. And all you need to do is learn how to use that tool, and whatever is in your mind, that tool can help you create it, bring that into reality. So the same way that you might use, reason or logic to, bring that sound that's in your mind out into the open, these tools like After Effects, Blender, Cinema 4D, all this type of stuff, that's helping you to kind of put those visions out there. And it sounds very much like you have a lot of these ideas, and you're not someone who sits down and just lets those ideas sit in your mind. You want to get it out there.
Yeah, that's definitely correct. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's always passion behind everything I do. For example, when I was doing clothing, if I thought of an idea at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I've got the tools or accessibility to go and make a t-shirt, and I've got work at 9 o'clock the next day, I'll jump out of bed and go do something that night and put it on Instagram a few hours later. So, I'm kind of impatient when it comes to pushing ideas out. I don't really plan behind. I don't really structure any sort of drops or anything, which I've started to learn how to do. But usually I wouldn't do it, and in a way, it's not really good because there's no hype around anything you drop. Whoever sees it, and they'll look into it. But that's something I do need to work on, focusing on how to structure and plan things in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this whole space is just something that everybody is learning as they're going along anyway. So the fact that what you've created has really resonated with that community. Just like you're saying, you've tried so many different things, and myself as an entrepreneur as well, you try lots of different things, and again, it's very similar to yourself in the sense that it's always from your passions. You're always going into these things, but like you said, when a certain audience resonates, when your product or your message or your sound resonates with a particular community, a particular audience, that feedback just spurs you on and motivates you to kind of just keep going into, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's when you know if it's right or not. That's when you know whether, okay, the thing that I like, everybody else likes, or a lot of people like as well. So I can keep doing this. So that's amazing. And I think, this whole world is crazy, actually, where we are today. So how did you get into this NFT space? And, did you start NFTs or did you start a crypto? Or did you start with the art first?
Honestly, I think it was just meant to happen. I feel like I fell into it. Like, I think I've seen a few things about it on Instagram. And then I logged into Twitter for some reason. Like, I never log into Twitter. Before NFTs, I didn't use Twitter properly in about 3 or 4 months. So logged into Twitter, seen a few things about NFTs, looked it up. And I think I may have clicked a few links of people selling art, and then looked into it a bit further and just, started creating as a ward on Photoshop, someone finally bought an item, the first ever item. Like I had no idea how this works. At that point, I don't even think I had a crypto wallet, so I didn't have a clue how to get the money out or didn't know much about it. And yeah, just by mistake fell into it. And since that day, you know, the NFT community, like the support in the NFT community is crazy, man. Like it's insane. The amount of people that are just helping each other out in terms of like, you know, advice, buying each other stuff. You know, it's insane. Like there's no other community like it. You won't get the same amount of engagement or people retweeting your stuff or sharing it anywhere else except for the NFT community. Like it's insane.
Yeah, that must be so strange, and I find that with crypto in general, but again with the NFT that I put out, I remember I put that out and I went to Twitter, like you said, or even Instagram, you know, followed a few accounts, and straight away so many accounts started following me back, and that's you know from the kind of industries that I come from, that's quite rare. And then people are messaging you saying, oh hey, that's cool, you know, check out my thing and tweet me and I'll retweet you. It's completely different because everybody in that space actually, they want more people in that space and they want a bigger community. So it's like when you go into that space, everybody's there to welcome you and to guide you as well. So it sounds like you found that. So tell me about Gumbo then. So Gumbo's your creation, which has just kind of, you know, exploded on Rarible. So tell me about Gumbo and the creation of Gumbo. And obviously I need to, you know, ask you about that day when you became, you know, the #1 seller on Rarible as well. But, you know, from where Gumbo started, where did that idea come from?
So basically, I originally started making bear bricks on Foundation. The plan was to basically make my own bear bricks, a series of 50. Reason being is because when I was about 3-4 years ago, I wasn't in a situation where I could be affording to spend £400 or how much ever they are on a 3D doll. Like, you know, I would never be in that situation. And then I think with that, and also growing up watching Sesame Street, and also Mr. Oizo, you know, I'd see that on TV, just on music shows, on MTV and stuff. The character, I think I kind of wanted to create something where it involves all three of them elements. Reason with the bear bricks is that I think it was already done. There's a lot of people doing them, and I come from a background in music where, you know, if you're sounding like anyone else or you're taking influence from anything else and you're sounding pretty similar to that person, there's only a certain level of exposure you're going to get. Like you're only going to reach a certain limit. So I thought, you know, I kind of want to infuse these three characters together and create something that basically looks funny to the eye. You know, people enjoy looking at it. I've got no limitations on how many variations I can create. Like I just thought, you know, this is what I want to make. These are the things I'm influenced by, and you know, I started up. At first, the whole plan was to have Gumbo without any sort of fur. And once I started learning Blender and understood it, it kind of gave me, you know, a lot of ideas. And the thing is with that as well, I feel like the more I learn how to use Blender, the more I'm, you know, I can create. I can just do anything I want on it. Like I didn't know what Blender was till last month. It took me about, I think what I was doing is my typical day was basically waking up, working from home till about, you know, 4 or 5, and then in the evening I'd stay up till about 3-4 a.m. just learning how to use Blender. You know, I didn't have a clue what that was last month, and there were times where it'd crash, and you know, you'd lose everything if you're basically not saving it. But you know, it took a while to learn, but it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long did it take you to create Gumbo, the original Gumbo? How long did that take you to create?
The original Gumbo took about
I guess excluding all the prep work of actually learning how to use the tools, etc.
Yeah, I'd say it took about, you know, a solid 2 days. That's about, you know, about 16 to 18 hours just getting it right. You know, the eyes as well. The eyes was a major thing because the idea I had in my head was, you know, I want wiggly eyes, the ones that you do see on dolls, or you might see, you know, on little teddy bears and stuff, the ones that move around. That's one thing I definitely did want, but didn't know how to create. So you know, it took about a good 16 to 18 hours.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So in terms of you know, when you launched it, then when you actually first put it up onto Rarible, then you continued to put out these different variants. Tell us about the day then, the day that you became a #1 seller. What did that mean for you in terms of, you know, crypto, financial crypto, and how that changed? I suppose, because I remember I saw a post on your Instagram where, you know, the day that happened, and it felt like it was a day where even you had to just take a step back and think about it
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
second, right? So what was
yeah.
your kind of, what
So,
happened basically?
so what basically happened is so Gumbo was up online for about 3-4 days prior to it exploding. So what basically happened was, I think I put it up, you know, maybe one was selling or two here and there. And then I think it was a Friday, I think it was. And what happened was, I think Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp went down for a couple of hours. I don't exactly know what happened. And in that little hour of it going down, I remember someone purchased one and retweeted it, and then that specific tweet triggered everything. Like, it just sold out. It literally, I think I dropped 25 of them, and it just went literally within about 5 minutes since that tweet. It just exploded. And then about an hour or two later, I dropped #2, which is the fire truck one, and again sold out. And later that night, I dropped lavender again. Within, you know, a couple of minutes, it just went. But the thing with that is, like, you know, I didn't have a clue in regards to how I'm dropping stuff. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes you need to work out before you put stuff online. For example, you know, pricing, collections, rarities. So there's a lot of things I didn't realize I'm doing until later on. I got some advice from, you know, a few people in terms of how to build collections, what prices shall I do, and just create a hype around it. So yeah, it did basically leave me confused for a bit in terms of how I'm going to follow up and, you know, carry on putting out this you know, putting out Gumbo, and it constantly receiving hype and selling out as soon as it's up. So yeah, that Friday, I think that's when everything changed. Like, just that, literally that 1 hour is when everything changed.
So what was it like on your side? Do you get like, you know, like some e-commerce, like Shopify, for example, you'll get like a cha-ching when you get a sale, for example. Is it the same thing on Rarible, like your MetaMask
So
blowing up?
so on Rarible at the time, when about a month ago, Rarible didn't actually send you any notifications of when your item sells. They didn't send anything. So I'd log in the account, and you'd have a little lightning bolt on the top right-hand corner, which shows you've sold an item or someone's put a bid on it. And, you know, I just seen it sell out within just a list of sold, you know, about all down the page. And that's when I realized, shit, like, I'm actually making money from this, and it's working. People are buying it. Like, people are buying it as soon as it's on. Within 2-3 minutes, I've sold out.
Could you believe it yourself? Like, did you expect that?
The first time I'd done it, no, because prior to that, I was making a lot of art on foundation and stuff. It would sell, but it wouldn't be like a thing which would go straight away. It'd take maybe a couple of days, or, you know, even a week. Even to this day, I've still got items which haven't got a bid on. So I was still doing art before that, and it was selling, but the level of how much this exploded was insane, man. I couldn't believe it. Like, I just couldn't get my head around it the first time round. And since then, it's just non-stop.
I know that there's going to be a hell of a lot of people watching this that are either artists, like the, you know, physical artists that want to get into this world, or there might be NFT artists that are already in this world that, you know, are trying to figure out some extra tips on how to improve their, you know, portfolio. or there's people like yourself from a couple of months ago that are thinking that, you know what, this is a space that, you know, I'd like to get into, but I just need to know, you know, a few tips on how to actually make sure that, you know, I'm maximizing my chances of success. What would you say some of those tips would be?
One of the things is, first of all, you know, find a platform which you're comfortable on. Everyone seems to think running to Foundation is like a, you know, golden ticket. Like Foundation is, you know, the one you need to be on Foundation. I've not used Foundation in about 3 weeks. I've got an account, you know, I started listing on there. I've used Zora, you know, but for collectibles, I think for me personally, Rarible is working. The other thing you need to be doing is planning your drops. For example, how much are you going to release? What collections you're going to do? Pricing. You know, you need to kind of justify your price. You need to put a reason as to why you're selling something for 10 ETH, for example. You know, there needs to be a reason behind it. You know, I've seen stuff on Rarible Foundation or whatever, people have got reserve prices for 600 ETH, like this just for no reason. Maybe it might be a mistake, but you know, you kind of need to justify your price.
I think everybody sees Beeple's 69 million, 70 million.
Yeah.
Well, it was just a guy because the story is he only got into selling his NFTs in this way 5 months ago. So everyone's kind of thinking I can do the same thing, but they don't realize that he's actually been in this art world and creating digital art for the past 15 odd years.
Yeah. So one of the things is just to understand your platforms and, you know, what you're comfortable with. Obviously, the thing is, for me, I started on, like I said, on Foundation. I thought, you know, this platform's great until you get a bid. You'll have a 24-hour, you know, bidding window, but it's all about what you're comfortable with, what you think, you know, you can maximize your sales on, for example. I think on Foundation, I'm not sure if they've updated it, but you can't actually mint more than one edition. So, you know, if you're doing collectibles of 10, I don't think that's possible anyway. But yeah, I learned the hard way. Like I said, when I started up, I was just making these characters, Gumbos, and just putting them online, and without any sort of like justification of price and where this is going to go. You know, how many am I going to make? I had no idea behind it. I just put them up online. It took off, and only till like 2-3 weeks ago, I realized, shit, I need to kind of like know where I'm going with this. I need to kind of do collections. I need to cap them at a certain amount. I need to stop putting out so many. And, you know, you'd get messages of people who have bought 10 who see this as a way of making money, which is fine. You know, that's no issue to me. But, you know, you get messages from people saying they bought 10 and they can't do anything with them. You know, I'm not advising people to go and buy 10. So that's one thing. Like, I wouldn't say, you know, you should buy this amount, it's going to go up in value. I don't really do that. Like, whoever gets one, gets one. But yeah, the main thing is basically just understanding your platforms and knowing what you're putting out. One thing I would say, personally for me, the way I do it is, for Foundation from the future, I'm going to be using that for my, you know, maybe one pieces where Gumbo maybe sat in a cafe or something like that. Artworks and collectibles, I'm always going to stick to Rarible for as long as I can until, you know, I see any sort of benefit in any other platforms.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. So where do you see the NFT market kind of going? How do you see it evolving over the next couple of years? I think that because you know, you see drops from lots of celebrities nowadays dropping NFTs. Even Khabib's got some NFTs coming out, and you know, what makes it valuable? You know, what makes it not valuable? You know, why should people buy it? Why should people not buy it? And you know, how do you think things are going to change over the next few years?
I think with the first question about what makes it valuable and what doesn't is yourself, really. Like, if you're creating an NFT with passion behind it, and you're making it for the sake of making art, and you would be doing the same thing last month, you just don't stop. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep creating as you normally would. Stop watching, followers, likes, that kind of shit. Because at the end of the day, if you were making art in the first place, the fact it's not selling shouldn't make you stop, because you would have been doing it anyway. That's one thing what makes it valuable. People want to hear a story behind your art. Collectors want to know more. They're not just going to buy anything they see online. They kind of want a story behind why you've created something, your story. So I'd say you just basically don't follow the hype and just fall into the trap of creating things that are popping online at the moment. Just do what you're doing. And that's one thing I've always stuck to, whether it be music or, what I'm doing now. I've always tried to stay in my own lane with things. In regards to where NFTs are going in the next years, I couldn't say. I honestly don't have a clue. I think it depends on a lot of factors. One is where's crypto going. What my plan is at the moment with Gumbo is collaborating with artists and creating tangible items. For example, working on physical products that come with NFT tokens, and that's my plan at the moment, to focus on that. Some kind of bringing them two worlds together.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mentioned to you when we were speaking on the phone, Cause, which is one of my kind of favorite. I mean, I don't really know what to call that, but that brand, I suppose. But I think the way that he has created this character, similar kind of principles, I think, to how Gumbo was also created as well, kind of taking certain influences, but then putting your own personality, making it a bit more human as well at the same time, and a bit vulnerable. But then also bridging the two worlds between the digital, the art, and the physical. And obviously, we've seen things with he's doing crazy things within VR and AR and all this type of stuff as well. So, really it's kind of unlimited. You own. It's almost like you have the IP of Gumbo, and now with NFTs in this world, there's so much more reason to be creative. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm working on at the moment, bringing Gumbo into real life. For example, at the moment, I'm planning on launching this on the weekend. Is basically a real life filter. Where Gumbo's placed in real life world, and you get to take a picture next to it. Hopefully, I'm planning on putting that out on the weekend. So that's one thing I'm working on. But yeah, I mean, I'm just working on a lot of physical products as well as still carrying on with the NFTs. So people are getting both things, and with Cause, I get what you mean with, the filters and stuff, because I've got a few Cause dolls as well, actually. And, they're a big influence as well. They're a big influence. I remember there was he had a few up at Yorkshire Sculpture Park. I missed that exhibition, but if I could get Gumbo to follow that kind of route and maybe placed in real life places, then that's the plan. That's basically the plan, to get this out as much as possible, not only in the NFT world, but the real life world as well.
So kind of bridging the gap between the two.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool, because it works both ways, where that will bring more people into the NFT world as well, and then it'll help NFT artists like yourself to kind of bridge into a wider audience outside. So no, I wish you all the best with that, man. Just in terms of crypto in general, then obviously this is the CryptoCast. One of the questions that I will be asking all the future guests as well, and I'll start off with yourself as well. But it sounds like, by the way, you did you get into crypto only a few months ago, or did you kind of know crypto before?
I think I was into it. I wasn't really into it that deep, maybe a couple of £100 here and there. But now the fact that I'm getting paid in crypto, I do have to focus on it, quite a lot, and make sure I'm leaving my money in certain places and taking it out at the right time as well.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is going to be a silly question, because you get paid in Ethereum, but what's your favorite project that you'd back for the kind of medium to long term?
In terms of crypto, probably Ethereum, just because of the fact, I can see the benefits. NFTs are, everyone's being paid in Ethereum. I think there's a lot of, is it Web 2.0 or 3.0 that's due to be coming out soon?
I think 3.0.
Yeah, 3.0, which should, I'm guessing that should obviously increase the, the price of crypto. Ethereum a little bit.
I think
And it also will fix a few bugs, such as I think gas fees and should reduce because of that as well.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that I was shocked at most, was the gas fees when it came to kind of even just minting the NFT, and then also for just friends who were thinking, oh, well, I'll just back it and buy the NFT. Then they're faced with the gas fees, and that's when it starts to kind of pose a few more questions. And I guess for the NFT artists, that's something that you guys, well, you obviously know, but what other artists need to know as well is that that's also something that needs to be kind of put into your pricing almost as well. Because if you don't have something that's valuable, no one's going to pay that extra $40 or $50 for the gas fee. But if they're paying $400 or $500 ether, in Ethereum, for that, then the $40, $50 doesn't really make too much of a difference at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, look, thanks so much for your time, Numan. This has been a really cool episode because, you're someone who's got a really inspiring story. And I think it's really, it's almost like the best type of story in this crypto world, which is, this whole world is all about giving opportunity to people. That's how I see it. The fact that you've been able to use your creativity in this way, and now that creativity is allowing you to kind of expand and further down that route through NFTs, I think it's amazing, man. So congratulations on all your successes so far. And
Thank you, bro.
Actually, the last question I do have for you, because we don't know who's going to be watching this. Are there any type of people, or anyone in particular that you would want to either hear from or you'd want to connect with?
What do you mean by in the NFT world, or just in general?
In general, like, maybe someone that could help you as part of your team to build, or maybe it is somebody in the crypto world, maybe Metakoven, you want to meet him or network, you know what I mean? Is there anybody in particular that you think, I would like to reach this person in case, you don't know, they might be watching this?
Yeah. To be honest, there isn't. I'll be honest with you, that there's not at the moment. Reason being is because I'm getting all the guidance I need from everyone in the NFT community right now. Like, in regards to artists I like to work with, I've not really got anyone specific in mind, but maybe, a few musicians on NFT projects. I'm not sure exactly who, but actually, Aphex Twin, that would be one. That would be pretty good to see how that worked out.
Who's that?
Aphex Twin.
Who's that?
You look up his work on YouTube. He's put out an NFT. I think he put up an NFT a month ago. But this guy's a musician.
Nice. So actually, that's really interesting. So any musicians, especially Apex. Sorry, bro. Who's
yeah?
I'm gonna look him up. Apex Twins.
Aphex Twin.
Aphex Twin.
APHEX.
Yeah.
Twin. So this guy put up an NFT. I think it was last month. He's been doing a lot of music, since for years he's been making music.
Yeah, no, I've just checked this thing out. He just sold an NFT for 128,000 recently.
Yeah. So yeah, other than that, I mean, there's no one off the top of my head, but what I do work on at the moment is basically Gumbos, which is a collaboration. That's going to be insane. That's happening at the moment. So what that basically is Gumbo split up into 4 series. So you've got the collector's editions, which are your 5s, 10s, and 25s. Then you've got your special series, which is your 1-of-1s. And then the Gumbros collaboration series, which is basically me and another artist working on a specific Gumbo, usually 1-of-1s. But the next one I'm about to drop is going to be a physical collaboration with a streetwear brand. So whoever buys the NFT also gets a free item. shipped out to them. So that's one thing I'm working on. And yeah, I think that's probably going to be one of the first ever NFT/streetwear brand collaborations. So that's happening at the moment. And the thing is with that, I'm reaching out to people who may not have many followers. I just like the work. So, there's people with 20, 30 followers, and we're working together just for the sake of the fact, the work's good. That's it. So that's what's happening there at the moment. It just gives basically them the opportunity to grow, and also a chance to do whatever they want on a blank Gumbo canvas.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, man. Well, look, Numan, thanks so much for your time, and I know it's late in the evening, and this has been a real treat for me because, like I said, when I first saw Gumbo, I was really attracted to the actual character. Then I saw it was Numan Khan. I'm also Ehsan Khan, so I was like, all right, wicked. This is amazing to see that somebody from my community as well has been able to really take advantage of this, and just the kind of the other thing that I was thinking actually, Numan, is anybody in the world can do this. There's no limit to the entry, is there? There's no barrier, is there?
Yeah, there's definitely no barrier. Anyone can do this. It's just about, obviously, don't have the idea you're going to be making money. Don't get involved in this if you think it's just the money that you're after. There's a lot of shit involved before even, creating's one side, but there's a lot more to it. You need to be involved in the community. For example, when I sell, I'm always giving back, just because of the fact I've got so much from this community. What's $1,000 giving that back? It's basically worth giving other people a chance to grow. Like every couple of days, what I'm paying minting fees on Twitter. People who can't afford to pay fees to list their items. I'm paying $300-400 in them every couple of days just to give people a chance to start somewhere. So that's one thing people need to remember, is always get involved in the community, whether it's forums, Reddit forums, Telegram, Discord groups and shit. Just always kind of get involved in that stuff, and don't think you're going to sell just by listing an item and hoping that you'll get 60 whatever ETH for it, because it probably won't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Sound advice from someone who's been getting amazing results in this community, and has been really taken in by this community. So, Numan, thanks so much for your time, bro. I'm going to leave you to it, and look forward to seeing your work out in the future, man.
Nice one, bro. Thank you.
Take care, man. Take care.